Hello, my name is Spencer, and you are looking at The Last Worker. You play as Kurt, who is the last human employee at a company called Youngle, which is this enormous shipping company that delivers dreams, as they call them, to people all over the earth. Everyone else has been automated and AI'd out of the job. I'm recording this in April 2023, and AI is the hot topic right now. So I thought it was interesting timing for this game to come out. I'm not going to go through every story bit here, but I will talk about the endings. Before we get into this, I do want to mention that I have set up a Patreon page. It's $1 USD per month. There are no tiers. Watching the videos, leaving likes and comments, those are all helpful. If you can pitch in $1 per month, that would help me out a lot. I'll leave the link below this video. Let's get back to The Last Worker. Thank you. Kurt has been working here for 25 years, but around the time that he started, he met this woman named Rosa. They fell in love, and she got pregnant. She ended up being one of the people who got fired, and Kurt was sad, but he kept working, which leads us to today. And Kurt apparently started living at Youngle after Rosa left. He doesn't leave the building, and he lives by this trash heap. So he's not doing so great. There is a little tutorial that you go through to get a feel for what you're doing here. I don't think there's any reason to really show that part. You start off just doing your job. By the way, this is Youngle. This is Mr. Youngle. You start off just doing your job. The game has this cheeky, kind of somewhat vulgar humor, which works. It got a few chuckles out of me. It's funny. You're taking things off of shelves, either sending them out to be shipped, or taking them to the trash if they're defective or damaged or something like that. You have to look at the boxes for the damage, check the size, check the weight, make sure everything's right. This is actually, I mean, at my job, I'm not flying around in this like air scooter, but this is pretty much what I do at my job. I just walk around, have an order, take things off the shelf, get them ready to be shipped. That's pretty much it. If you take away the flying around and the robots and the futuristic setting and stuff like that, this is basically what my job is. It's not a very good job. It doesn't pay well. It sucks. I would like to get out of there sooner rather than later. You know, this is not what I went to college to do. I'm hoping I can actually do something better with my life, but it turns out that this is the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. Anyway, let's just get back to the game. So you do this for a while, and then you meet this little robotic bird. You do get glimpses of this hoverbird appearing as you were working and taking packages around. Right now we're in this forced section where you have to race against a robot to deliver a package. You got to go through this little course. The hoverbird opens up this shortcut so you can actually catch up with this thing and overtake it and win the race. But after this, you end up back in the trash heap where Kurt lives. So this little robotic bird called the hoverbird is piloted by some woman, you don't know who she is, and she starts talking to you about how Youngle is bad and there's lots of people suffering outside of the building. A lot of terrible things are going on. We'll get into what exactly is going on, or what I think is going on outside of the building, because Kurt has never left. In 25 years, he's always been inside this building, so he doesn't know what's happening outside, other than what he's been told is happening.
I'm with Spear.
Spear.
The society promoting an end to automated redundancy.
As Kurt points out, that's quite the mouthful, but Hoverbird goes on to talk about how democracy is dying, people are dying, it's really bad outside, democracy is dying. I think I already said that. Things are really, really bad, and I don't know how much can be attributed to specifically what Youngle is doing, or if there are other things that are going on, there have to be other things that are going on. But this is what we are told.
I really hope you get this. I hope you see this. I made it down to the belly of the beast. It's worse than I thought. Far worse. They're stalking death and destruction in family packs. Buy 2 world wars, get the 3rd one free. If all the Technicolor junk above doesn't finish us off first, they'll make damn sure that the stuff down here will. This is end-stage capitalism. It's the end of the road. I've seen hell. We are in hell. We must stop Yungel. We must fight fire with fire.
That was a video of Emma. She used to work in security at Yungel and disappeared. Not sure what happened to her. And that's one of the first things that we need to do, is we need to find out where she is and what's happening. Because she infiltrated down into the manufacturing depths of the company and found a lot of nasty stuff down there. Weapons, bombs, mines, other weapons of war that Yungel is selling. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at the inventory of items so you can see what kind of things you're shipping out. Okay, so at the main menu you have this product display section where you can go through and look at all the different items that you have unlocked. I have unlocked all of them, actually. There's this item, the steak board. So they have some very comical
real actual goldfish
kind of stuff here for these different items, but they have a lot of shall we say questionable items here. This is my favorite. This one's my favorite. But they have stuff like riot shields, bulletproof vests. Where was that one? There was like a bionic eye that's shooting a laser, a time bomb.
Nano arcade.
Let's see. There's a detonator.
Mini Bertha.
A gun. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here. This one's funny. This one's funny. But they're shipping out a lot of weapons of war. Now, I don't know who's fighting with who or what's been happening on the Earth, but there's one item in particular that I noticed,
Atlas.
which is this Atlas, which this is the Earth, and you can see that it's covered in ocean. And there's one island on Earth. Now, I'm assuming that Yungel must be based on the island or very close to it. But the rest of the Earth is ocean. So I don't know if this is because of climate change or something else has been going on. The game doesn't specify. I like this aspect of the game. I like that you have to go looking for some of the stuff. You can see that I've unlocked everything in here. But I like that you have to kind of look around and find this stuff, and you can piece some things together. This is the only one that I found in here that gives me an idea of what's going on in the world, other than all of the weapons of war stuff. But that's certainly not most of it. There's just a bunch of weird stuff in here, kind of cheeky stuff. Cellmate. It's 2 cell phones in a cell. Just weird, just kind of like dumb humor like that. But yeah, I like that you have to look around a little bit. But let's get back to the game. The game is short. It's less than 8 hours long. And over time, you will find yourself getting away from your usual duties and going deeper into these restricted areas where you have to avoid robots that are security bots, making sure that nobody is in any of these sections that shouldn't be there. And they get progressively more difficult as you go along. And this is probably the first major point in the game in which you realize that Youngle is doing some really insane stuff in order to make the products that it's making. Earlier it mentioned that it only has one cow, a single cow, but I guess they clone it over and over again, and you can see they're sending the whole cow into these grinders and coming out the other side with these cubes of meat over there on the right. And this is how Youngle does things, and it's pretty nasty stuff. So the game has a pretty clear anti-big corporation, kind of anti-capitalism messaging, which I don't think is too heavy-handed. I don't think they go overboard with it, really. And I don't necessarily disagree, or I know I don't disagree with it. You know, a lot of big companies do a lot of bad things in order to do business, and you know, there's going to be a lot of people out there that tell you that's just the price of doing business, that's just what they have to do, and you know, you can be more intentional about what you're buying and who you're buying from. You're never going to be in a position where you can give, you know, the middle finger to every single company out there that you don't like and refuse to buy anything from them, but you know, vote with your wallet. If you don't like what a company's doing, don't give them money. You know, put your money where your mouth is. Anyway, as you're going through these restricted areas, you get to the point where the plan becomes to blow up the generator of the company using Skew. Now, Skew is, I failed to mention this earlier, is this little yellow propellered robot that has been your companion throughout the 25 years that Kurt has been at the company. So he's been with you the whole time. He walked you through the tutorial, and he continues to help you throughout the story. Through your forays into the restricted areas, you will get to the point where you are able to attach a bomb to Skew. And the goal is to take Skew down to the generator, the main generator for the company, trigger the detonator, and that will thus take out Youngle because you've taken away their power source. In order to get to that generator, you have to pilot Skew through these different obstacle courses. There are 3 of them, and I found this to be annoying. I don't like the controls here. You move left and right with A and D by default, but you have to repeatedly press the left mouse button for Skew to ascend and get over obstacles. He drops automatically if you're not clicking the left mouse button. And if you click too much, he'll end up hitting the ceiling. And he's got the little propeller that he uses to fly around. That will drag along the floor, the ceiling, and the walls, and he'll take damage. His health is in the lower right. And if you take too much damage, Skew will blow up before you get to the core. Like I said, I don't like the controls here. I had a hard time in one of these sections. I had a horrendous time trying to get through the obstacles. I would have preferred it if you controlled movement with 4 buttons rather than clicking to ascend, like just use WASD for up, down, left, and right. I think that would have been better. And as you can probably tell from this footage, the speed picks up as you go. You start out going not quite as fast, and then at least it seems like it really picks up the speed, so you have to be faster with your movements as you go along. So it's just, you know, it wouldn't be too bad if the controls were a little bit better, but you know, I got through it. It was all right. There are also these little door puzzles that you do throughout the game. This is not too bad. You've got the correct answer for this puzzle on your little display on your tool, and then you're just flipping these cubes to match the pattern that's on the display. Some of the time you'll have 2 of these. A timer starts when you complete one of the puzzles, and then you have to quickly figure out the other one before the timer runs out and resets both of them. So it's an interesting little mini game that I didn't have too hard of a time with, except when I was under pressure like this. There was like one other time where I had two of those puzzles, and there was also a security bot patrolling around, so it made me nervous trying to get through it, but I got through it, and it's a nice little puzzle game. It's not too difficult. In between these sections where you're controlling Skew, making your way to the generator, Kurt has to move through these areas past security bots in order to get to the next control panel where you can control Skew and get to the next section. And these security bots are very ominous sounding. They look ominous, but they sound ominous too. They have this like sinister humming and mechanical sort of noise. They move really fast. They almost teleport, they move so fast. Then you get through the last section with Skew, and you're falling down to where the generator is. Set the blast off, and then you take out the generator, and that's it. You've beaten the game, right? Youngle is done for. They can't possibly survive their core power source exploding. Yes? Well, no, because the game fast forwards a year later, a whole year later, and there must have been, this is the part where I was really confused, there must have been a backup power source, or the original was rebuilt, because the company is still limping on. You can see I'm very confused about what's happening here. There is extensive damage, robots are breaking, but Kurt is still doing his job. I thought blowing up the generator would end things, but apparently not. It's business as usual still. After doing your job for a while, you notice a little ping on your map, and you find out that Skew is back, who you haven't seen in a year. And he wants to help you get out of here. He wants you to smash the whole place apart and take out a little bit of revenge on the company. Skew takes you to this giant trash compactor, trash collector robot, which you did fight against earlier in the game. And you are going to pilot this thing all the way to Youngle's office, smashing the building apart as you go, and take down the company. And it's fun. It's fun to smash things with this giant robot that you don't have to worry about moving forward with it. It just moves automatically, and you use the left and mouse buttons to smash different items in the environment. You get to smash through several walls. You don't even care. You're just busting through all the walls and smashing everything apart. It's a nice time. After going around and having to dodge robots and avoid things, now I can just come through and break everything apart. And this is a nice section. I like this section a lot. You do a lot of smashing, and eventually you get close to Youngle's office. You do have a little bit of a conversation with Mr. Youngle here on the screen, and he's kind of talking about, you know, we've been together for 25 years, we've worked together for so long, why don't you come up to my office? Because I have actually been planning on having you, Kurt, be my replacement. You were the only employee worth keeping over these 25 years. That's why everybody else is gone, because you're the best. And he, Mr. Youngle, is getting old and needs a replacement. So he wants to bring you up there and promote you to the CEO of the company. That is one option that you have. The second option that you have is when the hoverbird shows up again, except this time it's not that woman talking to you anymore. It's the leader of Spear, and he wants you to finish the job of taking out Youngle. He doesn't want you to go up to his office and talk with him. He wants you to kill him. Now, I did each of the endings. I wanted to see what each of the endings were. And you can see here, if you go with Hoverbird to show up to Youngle's office to kill him, he's alive and well. He's standing right in front of you. And in this ending, you talk a little bit with him, but the Hoverbird and Spear ends up blowing up the Hoverbird. It must be packing explosives or something like that. And it blows up the whole office, killing Youngle and you in the process. So this stuff that's the leadership at Spear was telling you before about how, don't worry, you'll be back with your family, your mother, or not your mother, your wife and your daughter. Everything's going to be fine. Well, all of that was a pack of lies, because they're willing to kill both you and Youngle in order to get what they want, which is to take out Youngle. And they don't care about you or anybody else. They just want to achieve their goals. Whether you decide to go with Spear or not, you'll always have this walking section after the wall to Youngle's office gets destroyed, and you have to walk across this beam. This is the part when Skew will show up attached to a security bot. You can see I'm anticipating him to show up on the right here. I wanted to see if I could see him come flying in. There he is. Skew gives you the option to go with him, and he will fly you back to your family. You may have pieced this together, but the woman who was originally piloting the Hoverbird is your daughter, Cheyenne. Because remember, Rosa was pregnant when she left the company 25 years ago. Cheyenne is alive. Rosa is alive. And Skew will take you back to them. I don't know how Skew knows where to take you unless Cheyenne in the Hoverbird told Skew this information at some point, and you can see that Rosa, your wife, is still alive. She's been sick, but she's alive. Finally, you have the option for the promotion ending, which is the one that confuses me. You go up there, you accept the promotion to CEO of the company, and then when you show up to his office, you try to talk to him, he's not turning around, like, what's going on here? And then the chair starts to turn, and you see that he's dead. Full-on skeleton, dead. He's been dead for a while. And I don't understand this ending in the context of the other ending where he is alive. So check this out. It takes you maybe 5 minutes to go from where the screen is and make your way towards Youngle's office. How is it that Youngle is alive if your intent is to go there and kill him, but he's dead if you intend to accept the promotion? These two endings don't make any sense because there's like a 5-minute difference between where you were at the screen and where Youngle's office is, which is that square with the with the white windows in the distance. It doesn't make any sense. Now, there is this part where the things are blowing up and it's blowing a hole in the wall so that you can access Youngle's office, and you get hit, right? You get knocked out for a little while or something like that. But from what I understand, it's not long because the Hoverbird is still there, and how long is Spear going to wait around for you to wake up? So there can't be some kind of weird time thing that happens that you've been sitting here for like a long time knocked out and then you wake up. You know what I mean? Some of you might find this a little bit gross, and I'm sorry. I am not a mortician, but I do know that it takes a while for a body to decompose all the way down to just the bones. So I can't imagine that a bunch of time has passed, and since breaking down this wall, Youngle has died and been dead for a while, so much so that he's decomposed all the way down to just the bones. Unless this ending and Youngle being a skeleton is supposed to be symbolic, like, oh, you can be the CEO of this company, but you're gonna end up being this husk of your former self because you have to, like, sell your soul, sell your life in order to do and involve yourself with all the exploitation of people and resources and all that kind of stuff in order to be the CEO of a company like this. Is that what this is supposed to be? I don't have a dang clue with these endings. So, the story is fine. That 1 year jump near the end threw me off. I didn't know what was going on. It's weird to me that Spear never got in again until a year later. What was going on for the entire year after Youngle has taken a near fatal blow? It's not explained why, so I don't know. This could have been an easy fix too. Instead of a year going by, it could have been 1 week. Destroying the generator damaged the company greatly, but it didn't take it out for good. A week later, things are still going to be messed up. It's going to take time to repair. Believable. That's fine. They just haven't gotten through all the repairs. It's only been a week. It's going to take probably months in order to clean it up. Hoverbird and Skew have been rebuilt. That could be done in a week. Believable. But a year to rebuild 2 little robots? A year and Youngle has done 0 repairs on the building? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'm just stupid and I'm not understanding something about these endings, but it seems like it kind of ruins the game a little bit if you've seen all of the endings, because if you see them all next to each other, they don't really make a lot of sense. At least those 2. If you go home to your family, that's fine, because then, you know, whatever happens with Youngle and Spear is... It doesn't matter because you're with your family and you don't know. It doesn't matter. I did enjoy my time with the game. I don't think that is bad, but it does have flaws. I was hoping it would have maybe a little bit more to say about automation and AI, maybe a little more nuance or something like that. I don't know what exactly I was expecting. But it is short. You can probably beat this in an afternoon. If you're looking for a way to spend an afternoon, you can pick it up. I do enjoy the humor, the dialogue with other characters, and the items that you're shipping out. They're usually kind of weird and, you know, just strange. There's this one item that instead of a skateboard, it's a steak board. And it looks like a piece of steak with wheels attached to it. Just weird, kind of funny stuff like that. That's all from me for now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
I am a middle-aged fat man in a flying mobility scooter.